Tonight, our special transmission as a report by the World Health Organization reveals at least 8,000 cases of acute malnutrition in children in Gaza. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Aisha Ashraf. Today is the 252nd day since the onset of Israel's war. In the past 24 hours, Israeli attacks have killed 30 Palestinians in the besieged territory of Gaza. 105 have been injured. Attacks on 2 homes in the Nusayrat refugee camp have killed 5 individuals and injured 17 others. Multiple reports say Israeli forces are using explosives to destroy buildings in central Rafah. A drone strike in the Zaytun neighborhood has killed 1 Palestinian and injured several others. Palestinian news agency reports Israel has launched land, sea, and airstrikes on Al-Mawasi area, which is a designated safe zone. Thousands of Palestinians have taken refuge in the area. The Israeli forces deny conducting any strikes in Al-Mawasi. The Israeli military says in the past 24 hours, it has hit a total of 45 targets. It says the strikes have killed 10 Palestinian fighters in central Gaza. It claims several more have been killed in Rafah. The United Nations Refugee Agency says the breakdown of basic services has led to nearly 330,000 tons of waste accumulation. It says the waste is posing significant health risks. The war has also degraded over half of Gaza's agricultural land. Satellite images analyzed by the United Nations show extensive destruction of orchards and crops. The death toll from Israel's war continues to rise at an alarming rate. At the time of writing, at least 37,232 Palestinians have been killed. Out of these, 15,694 are children. 17,000 children are left without any parents. A revised report by the United Nations estimates another 10,000 civilians are buried under the rubble. Israel's death toll from Hamas's attacks stands at 1,139. Israel stands accused of genocide at the International Court of Justice. The court's ruling orders Tel Aviv to immediately halt its military operation in the southern city of Rafah. A new UN report reveals that at least 14 Israelis were intentionally killed by their own army on October 7th under the Hannibal Directive. The protocol is used to prevent the capture of Israeli soldiers. It allows extreme measures, including using lethal force against the prisoners. The protocol was officially revoked in 2016. The UN Independent International Commission of Inquiry has confirmed that Israeli security forces applied this directive, resulting in fatalities of Israelis. Verified incidents include an Israeli woman killed by helicopter fire while being abducted and 13 civilians killed by tank fire in Kibbutz Be'eri. A report by the New York Times says several Israeli prisoners being held by Hamas in Be'eri were killed during crossfire. The report reveals Israeli General Barak Ramis responsible for civilian killings. He was in charge of recapturing the kibbutz from Hamas fighters. Haram was cleared of wrongdoing by an Israeli army investigation in April. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has highlighted disagreements over proposed amendments by Hamas to the ceasefire deal. Blinken's criticism came during a meeting yesterday with Qatari PM Sheikh Mohammed in Doha. Blinken says some changes are not workable. He says the proposed changes will prolong Israel's offensive in Gaza. Washington's plan aims for an immediate ceasefire. However, Hamas wants a halt in Israeli aggression and a complete withdrawal of its troops. Blinken is accusing Hamas of obstructing a deal. Yet, Hamas contends the amendments safeguard against future war. Both sides maintain negotiation flexibility, but an immediate resolution remains elusive. A report by the World Health Organization says thousands of children are suffering malnutrition due to restricted supplies imposed by Israel. The organization's chief, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, says at least 8,000 cases of acute malnutrition in children under 5 have been reported. He says there is a lack of access to vital aid. A UN-backed independent commission accuses Israel of inflicting hunger on Palestinians. The closure of Rafah crossing by Israel has further hindered aid efforts. Israeli attacks have killed at least 270 aid workers in Gaza. 7 of them were World Central Kitchen employees. The UN and the International Court of Justice urge Israel to ensure humanitarian assistance reaches Gaza. A recent UN-backed commission report reveals systematic sexual abuse and torture inflicted by Israeli forces upon Palestinian detainees. The report says detainees are subject to degrading conditions at the Yemen military base. It highlights a pattern of coercion, including forced nudity, beatings, and electric shocks. The inquiry reveals disturbing instances of Palestinian women publicly stripped of veils and clothes. They have been subject to sexual harassment in front of their families. Palestinian men and boys have been disproportionately targeted. They have faced sexual violence, humiliation, and mistreatment during raids and interrogations. Israeli authorities have denied the allegations. However, testimonies from victims align with previous accounts of torture and abuse. A human rights group has criticized the Biden administration for claiming to be unaware of the reports of Israeli torture of Palestinian detainees. The director of Human Rights Watch, Sarah Yeager, is calling this response remarkable and wrong. Recent media investigations have revealed systematic abuse at the Yemen detention facility, including sexual abuse and torture. The UN Independent International Commission of Inquiry links the abuse to a strategy of punishment and humiliation. There are long-standing international laws prohibiting torture. The State Department promises to investigate the allegations. However, critics argue for stronger condemnation and action against torture. They lament the Biden administration's perceived reluctance to pressure Israeli forces to ensure accountability. A report by the United Nations estimates Yemen's Houthi group conducted 28 attacks on vessels in the Red Sea between January and June. Majority of incidents were conducted via unmanned aerial devices. They caused limited injuries and damage, except for notable casualties on the Barbados-flagged True Confidence. Attacks mainly targeted Marshall Island and U.S.-flagged vessels. Houthis claim targeting ships linked to Israel in solidarity with Palestinians. U.S. and U.K. initiated airstrikes in February in response to these attacks. Federal parties are accelerating efforts to pass a law following allegations of parliamentarians aiding foreign meddling. The bill countering Foreign Interference Act was introduced in early May. It is also referred to as Bill C-70. It aims to establish a foreign influence transparency registry, new criminal provisions, and broader sharing of sensitive information. Public Safety Minister Dominic LeBlanc says the government prioritizes the bill and aims to enact it before the next election. Conservative foreign affairs critic Michael Chong has expressed readiness to expedite the bill. New Democratic Party MP Jenny Kwan and the Bloc Québécois plan to propose amendments. Kwan has made previous claims of being targeted by the Chinese government. 14 civil society groups have raised concerns about the rushed legislative process. They say the bill has the potential to compromise civil liberties. Thank you for watching. Muslim Network TV is launching a new program, This Hijabi Life. You can stay updated by visiting our YouTube channel. We need your support for donations. Please scan the QR code on our broadcast or visit muslimnetwork.tv to donate now, so we can continue to amplify the voices of Muslims in Canada and abroad.